Hello, everybody. I do believe I am live, and I do believe audio is turned on this time. I go over here to double check. Yeah, no red X's. So, we are live. And when last we left off, I really wanted to get back into LXD. So, it's time to start a new journal entry. Would have liked to have gotten back to LXD. In fact, viewer Scott M., who I was chatting with earlier today, wrote to me in a comment, again, nice thoughts today. I'd say keep going with the LXD under WSL2, and quite frankly, any other issues you run across under WSL2, because I don't think this space is being addressed by many software developers on YouTube. As you said, the combination of WSL2 and Linux is a great combination for developers who really want to stick with a Windows machine and don't want to bear the pain of dual booting. Been doing that dance for years, but it does come with a bunch of caveats and workarounds, and no truer words have ever been said. As you can see, I'm fairly committed to Windows. I mean, I want to get off of it, really. I can't wait until the day where you don't need it. But if you want a stylus like this, where you can do a screen snapshot with a double click on the back of your stylus and where you can start writing, well, you need Windows for that, because you ain't getting that with any Linux desktop, any Linux laptops. The driver support is just crazy to get that kind of stuff working. And as you can see here, I'm working on my website. I'm getting it to be mobile friendly, a lot more prettier, allowing that whole motif of my reversible logo against a black and white Windows background to go. And a little phonetic joke. It looks like Mike Lev-in, lev.in. So I give the phonetic spelling Mike Love-in with phonetic dictionary notation. So that works on either mobile or desktop, and I'm really getting to a look that I think I'm pretty happy with for my online identity, one to kind of be in parity with what I'm doing here with my YouTubes. So before I can tell you this LXD story, I have to fix what normally is here on screen too, which is JupyterLab. And when last I ran JupyterLab, I got this bug here. This is a bug that I had not encountered since the last time I installed JupyterLab from off of their GitHub site. So this is Jupyter Desktop, and then down here are the releases. There's 19 releases. This current release had seemingly gotten rid of the problem. And in fact, I re-downloaded it and tried to install it to see if somehow I messed it up. It wasn't since I think the last release that I had this problem before, but it just spontaneously came back. And it lets you choose a custom Python environment. So I was like, okay, fine, let me go find a custom Python. But it occurred to me that I really wanted to be on Python 3.10 Windows side, like the way I am Linux side. So if I go to one of my Linux terminals, pull up one of these and type Python, you'll see I have it defaulted to Python 3.10.5. It's a really good version. But in Jupyter, I think it's stuck at Python 3.8 or 0.9. So it seems like time to fix that. And the way we do that is we go to, and this was my attempt to download it. I can get rid of that now. And the way we fix this is we go to python.org and we get the latest official release. We go right to downloads, 3.10.5. See, that'll get us into parity with what I have Linux side. And that's really appealing. So I download that. Bam, it puts it there like just that fast. It's almost unbelievable. Of course, that's going to be the installer. That's not going to be the actual full Python at 30K. It's hardly big enough. So we do install now. We give it authority, admin authority, because it's installing a bunch of local stuff. And it will do us good to take note of where it's installing stuff. Sometimes it has an advanced option where you can expand it. This one doesn't. That's kind of unfortunate. Psst, psst, psst. Come on, kitties. You can hear my kitties meowing. I fed them before the video so that they would not be so noisy, but apparently there's something they still want. I'll feed them catnip or something. You can see me feed my cats catnip during the video. But what we want to take note of is where the python.exe is installed, because we're going to be selecting that. When it gets up to that point, we're going to say, use a custom Python environment, and we're going to surf our way towards it. And we just select the python.exe. Oh, setup was successful. See what's new, disable path limit, changes to your machine. Online tutorial documentation. We'll just hit close, and we will see if Python has been put on our start menu. Python 3.10, there it is. So now we can right click it and open file location and see if these are links. See how small these things are. These are actually links for the purpose of the start menu and such. So we go once again to open file location, and here's a python.exe. Now we can see a path, right? In fact, we can click here to that path and we can copy that path, and that's where we're going to point to the python.exe, and that should pretty much be it. If this was done correctly, this will be a nice quick video. So if people are there, feel free to type to me. It says no one, but I know from YouTube that could be not telling me the truth. Use a custom Python environment. Now we check here what it does. It points to python.exe there. And in this folder that I had, I guess this folder here, we can paste this in, and we can see the python.exe lives right in there. It's also a link at 98K. It can't be the real thing, but that is decent. That's fine. We can point to that. It probably links in turn to python3.dll and stuff. Or python.w.exe. That's also a small one. Yeah. All right. So it seems to me I can just replace everything from C : up until here. Paste. Hey. Delete. Nah, I guess you have to select the path. Now you can paste it in here. Hit enter. And now we can point to our python.exe if we couldn't change it directly there. Apply and restart. Failed to find a compatible Python environment. Oh, really? Python package requirements are JupyterLab greater than or equal to 3.1.0. Is that what really is going on? It couldn't be just that easy pointing to a Python path like this, could it? Python W, apply and restart. Oh, it's going to be the same thing. Use path. It makes us select something. And it doesn't like. Okay. So use a custom Python environment. We're going to get Python 3.10 running in a command line shell. And then we're going to probably create a virtual env, a virtual environment, and try using that. And we might even register the kernel with IPython notebook externally using a process that I have seen in the past. So to do this, we can go over to that terminal I had opened up, hit function F11 to get back our tabs and go to PowerShell. I guess PowerShell is the best place to do this from. We're going to type Python and see if our 3.10 version comes up. Oh, look at that. It brings us to the web store. This, ladies and gentlemen, is part of that whoosh little process that I was telling you about. Not nice, not pleasant. It's going to give you the Python from the Microsoft Web Store. This allegedly improves the Python story on Windows because all you do is open a terminal, type Python, and you'll have Python on your machine. But I want the official one from python.org. Even typing Python 3 does that. So our paths are probably not set correct. That's an issue. I still have that path there, so I'm going to try CDing into that and typing python.exe from there. Really, Microsoft? Okay, let's try / for current directory. There, see that? I could force it to run from that directory using fully qualified path notation, or at least CDing into the path and saying from this directory, run python.exe from in there. So it's possible. It's possible. So I'm going to exit out of that, knowing that that reference can run Python. So -m will say stay into this environment, and we're going to see if we have venv. Whoops, venv from here. Sometimes you do, sometimes you don't. Hey, wow, usage venv. Yay, we have venv from the Python executable we're using. This is really big. This is actually quite big. So, and it's even telling us the syntax. venv, system packages, symlinks, copy, clear, upgrade. So this is the only required one. This is the environment dir. And I'm going to try and put it way up here in my Micli directory because I don't want it to have to be all the way down here. Well, it is in my user path. So honestly, it's not the worst thing in the world to allow the virtual env to be buried way down in here. But it makes more sense for it to be up here. So what we do is we do one up arrow, and then the one required thing here is the environment dir. We're just naming the environment dir. It's really that simple. So it's the Python exe, it's the -m parameter, which means keeps everything that you're doing contained to this Python exe's environment, even if it's the native install and not a venv in turn. So I need this path here. And I'm going to call it py. I'll make my font a little smaller. pyw for Python on Windows 3.10. 3.10.5. This is how I'll be able to tell it the difference between this directory and the one which is py310 that I use over here, because you can see, I use that as my virtual directory name here. That's kind of what we're trying to accomplish Windows side. Psst, 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 psst. Where's my kitties? My kitties are really being noisy. While that's happening, I'm going to go see what I can do for them. Give them some nips. Psst, psst, psst. You guys want some of the catnips? I'll give you the catnips. I know what you want. Psst, 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 psst. There you go. Go nuts, kitties. Also give you treats. I know what else you want. All right, so the kitties want their treats and their catnips. I have this for them. I'll give them this if they don't give me some peace. They love the cat chocolates. It's not really chocolate. It's kind of like a concentrated protein oil. Yeah, they're gathering around. They know that's coming. So this succeeded successfully. So I can probably CD into that location and do an ls, and you can see just the stuff that's in there. It just puts enough in there so that, you know, there's a Python environment there. And I have a new path to attempt to use over here. That's the first thing. So maybe now this Jupyter will take that as the new path, as my virtual environment. We don't know. We don't know. It may or it may not. Select path. Now I can go into that same path, and there's going to be the equivalent of a Python exe here. Thought there was. There almost always is. Oh, I guess this is it here. All right. Apply and restart. Oh, it still doesn't like it. It's giving the same notification. Environment Python package requirements are JupyterLab greater than or equal to 3.10. Okay, so it's not wanting to point to a python.exe in a virtual env. However, I know another step. And I already even have the web page kind of preloaded here. We can quit out of this. And I encounter this from time to time. And all you have to do is Google on, well, I don't even know what I Googled on, but it's something like IPython kernel. Or, you know, it's install other Jupyter languages would probably even do it. You know, it's the process for installing different Jupyter languages. I don't see the purple link, so install other Jupyter Python, well, whatever. There's different searches that'll bring you here, but as you can see, it's the official read the docs for IPython, what Jupyter itself was based on, things derived from things derived from things. And in this case, JupyterLab, Jupyter Notebook, were all derived from sort of an underlying technology called IPython. It's time for me to give the kiddies some of their treats. They're hanging around knowing that it's coming. So I'll show you this. They love this stuff. It looks like little chocolate pieces, and it even on the inside it looks like little chocolate pieces, but it's just concentrated protein and fat. They're like hanging up on me, waiting for me to give it to them. Here you go, Linny. Here you go, Ari. There you go. Linny and Arian, Linny are two little kitties I know. All right. So there's some different instructions here. Got to make sure you have pip install IPyKernel. So we need this. We need to pip install that. And using the same trick with a -m that let me use virtual env to create a virtual env, I use that same trick here in order to, and I should be able to do it right from here because I have it. Here's the advantage of a virtual env. Source activate, choose. I don't even know how to do it on Windows. You usually do it from a directory level up. So let's try source activate pyw 310. 5. It'll be a miracle if that actually works. Yeah. I believe it might even be activate. You might not need the word source. Activate is not recognized. Okay, well, I know how to do this by CDing into Pi, into pyw3 105, clear, CLS, clear, I had that right, ls, cd scripts, although why it's in scripts I have no idea, but there's our python.exe, // python.exe, and I can paste from here because I think I got the -m. I thought I did. I did not, but it didn't even go into my copy buffer. Copy, paste, and this will get the IPython kernel program installed locally. I didn't even have to do source activate. Source activate is optional if you know how to CD into your virtual env and use the direct reference to its executable along with its -m argument that contains it all in the locations it needs to be relative to your python.exe. This is like a virtual machine. It's not really, they call them virtual envs, virtual environments, but it's the same containerization that we use other places. It's a good lead up to the virtual env. No, it's a good lead up to the Linux LXD container videos, which will be coming real soon. But first, we're going to let this finish. This will give us the ability to install kernels, different kernels into our IPython environment, which Jupyter uses. All right. Successfully installed all this stuff. Warning, you are using an older version of pip. So we can take its advice and upgrade pip. There's no reason. See, now that we have this basic trick, we can use it in many ways. I'll just type it so that you get the idea. So the Python exe relative to where I am, the -m to contain everything in there, the pip command install, and then -- upgrade pip. This will make sure we have the new pip program here under Windows. You want some more treats, kitties? I know you do. Here you go, Linny. And Uri, come on over, Uri. You don't want to miss out. Linny is a real fiend for these. All right, successfully upgraded pip. Now we go back and we follow these instructions. Now, it shouldn't be this difficult. This is part of being on the bleeding edge. It's not nice. One should not have to jump through these hoops. I really look forward to being able to use JupyterLab Linux side instead of JupyterLab Windows side. It just gets rid of all these problems. You're on the mainstream. But while we're on the incompatible platform, Windows, // we got to jump through these hoops. All right, so we have this command now, and we can install. It's saying install -user. I guess so. I wouldn't have thought so, but now that we can run it, install it for the user, I suppose that means. Okay, it says that happened, so we followed that piece of the instruction. And now we definitely don't see this says we're using Conda, right? We don't want to do that. We have an environment. We already created an environment. See, these commands are Linux commands. Source activate doesn't particularly work. What we want to just do is register a kernel. See, okay, user name, other environment, display name. See, now we're getting to business, right? Because we have this command. We just saw it able to be run right over here. So we know we've got that. I'm going to clear this, get rid of a lot of this gobbledygook and just remind you that we can do this. Now it does want that user command, username, and then other environment. Other environment is the virtual env environment. And I think this is optional. We don't have to give it that name. It'll just use the one that it'll pick up. So did I include -user? Oh, that's not any of the new stuff. We want to get these two pieces. All right. Now it says name. That's a little disturbing because it's name and display name. This name here is a fully qualified path to where the environment is located. Now that's a little bit tricky because we're inside that environment. The path is up from where we're at. So it's going to be dot backslash. That's not even from where we are. It's going to be dot dot. Go a directory level up. So we're in the scripts directory. A directory level up puts us on the same level where this can be found. So it's dot dot backslash this name here. PYW3105. Boom. Doesn't look like it liked it. Okay, so we go cd dot dot, we go above it, and we have to get out of these things here, but that means to refer to the python.exe, we have to go from where we are and look inside the scripts directory. From where we are, scripts backslash. Okay, because it was the scripts directory we were in a moment ago before we cd'd one directory level up. We can still get to the python.exe. We just need to use a longer path. We use the M to make sure everything's contained in this location. And then we do the command again, which is going to find it now because, oh, it looks like we're inside of there still. One more thing. I'm going to pick up this whole thing so that I don't have to retype it. Okay, but now I'm going to cd one more level up. Paste this whole thing in. And now I have to go into that directory. So from here, it's going to be backslash PYW3105 backslash script. So this is how we get to our executable. Okay, bam. Installed kernel spec. Okay, that's huge. That's huge. We installed the kernel spec. It may be that we can run Jupyter now. I am not 100% certain, but that would be a happy ending to this story. Ugh, still that same thing. But now we have a kernel spec installed. So the IPython thing that is used here knows a little bit about it. So once again, we will attempt to select the, oh look, now there's some IPython.exes here. We're going to try the python.exe. Apply and restart. No, same error. Select path. Let's try these IPython.exes. Huh! Look at that. Drum roll, please. We'll see if Jupyter really starts or not. It seemed to have satisfied something there, but where's Jupyter? I will double click it again, see if something stuck from doing that. Maybe. So close. So close. Well, that was really disappointing. I have that virtual env set up. Uninstall JupyterLab.exe. We're going to try doing the uninstall. It says it was running, so it might have been the server component running. Completing JupyterLab uninstall, finish. All right. And so now we don't even need this icon. It's not attached to anything. But I do know that in my downloads directory, I have recently the installer, and we're going to attempt to reinstall it now. You'll recall that exe is something I downloaded from GitHub at the Jupyter repo, the Jupyter username /Jupyter-desktop. So the identity of this thing is Jupyter-desktop. I think it's JupyterLab-desktop. I really am hoping that they'll simplify the language surrounding Jupyter. All right, so run JupyterLab, finish. Where are you, JupyterLab? I don't see you. I am so sad. Let's see if people are here. Yeah. All right. Concurrent viewers, 2. Oh, already a like. Thank you so much. Oh, Joseph. Hi. Who is also watching? Are you? Yeah, I'm reinstalling Jupyter. I'm attempting to get Jupyter running. I got an error that I have gotten in the past, and never on this version. It came out of the blue. So I am reinstalling Jupyter, and I'm attempting a lot of tricks, such as getting a virtual env environment so that the latest and greatest Python 3.10.5 can be running under Jupyter. Oh, it's okay. I'll make this work. I'll either make this work or I'll have a lot more information to work with. Either way is good. So I'm going to copy this over here and make it so that I can do my typical thing. Function F11 on this, and then move that over here and this over here, and a little better spacing on that, and move this down like that, but then move this up. Oh wait, no, I know if I do that, that's not going to work. I have to grab it from the bottom first, something like that. Yeah, it just resizes it a little funky. Here we go. So this will kind of be my base of operations. I don't really need these nodes. I'm not tagging stuff anymore. That was from an earlier video. So I can do it this way. That's a lot easier. So I would have liked to have gotten back to LXD, but I'm trying to fix my JupyterLab desktop install. Now, it's reported to me that it's actually running, but clearly it's not. So when this happens, we go into settings, which is actually easy to find under Windows 10 still, and we go into apps, and there's going to be 2 things listed under for Jupyter here. There's going to be a server component, and then there's going to be a desktop component. Now, it may be that things are just so nuked in my memory that I have to restart my machine. That's a real possibility. But I'm going to try uninstalling the server component. And I'm going to try uninstalling the desktop, the Electron desktop app component. See, it said it was running, so that forced it to quit. Now, some other things that are a possibility. I do have Chrome running here doing all that, website, personal website development stuff that I'm doing finally to get this to look nice for you folks. So I'm going to quit out of that because Electron might have shared components with Jupyter. So quitting out of Electron, quitting out of Chrome, and in fact, quitting out of this could help too, but you're streaming from there, so can't really do that. But now I will attempt once more to do the Jupyter install. Now again, I'm very suspicious that all the stuff I've been doing lately is just nuking it in memory. There's something going on in the memory of my machine that might require a restart for it to actually work correctly again. Run JupyterLab, right? This is exactly what I want to do. And so doing this should just now, we should get our little twirly things coming up. But if I have to restart my machine, I have to stop this streaming video and it will be without a success. So apparently Jupyter has started, but I don't see it. It's a step better, perhaps, than what I was getting before with the error message. And I don't think there's really any reasonable way I can do further testing. That was an uninstall and reinstall all the way. I now have Python 3.10.5 installed from python.org, which is the right way to do it and not through the Microsoft Store. Allowing the one from the Microsoft Store to install might be an approach, but then you don't know where to surf into the .exe. See, that's a problem. That's a managed application by the Microsoft Store, and it cuts off all access, even with admin privilege. It's crazy. It's a two-edged sword. You get great updates, like my terminal here, this preview terminal, is from the Microsoft Store. So as they roll out new features on Microsoft Terminal, it auto-magically updates underneath of me, but I lose all admin level to get to its exe and do stuff. So one thing I know I can do is Control-Alt-Delete, right, from the olden days. Bring up the Task Manager. Look in Task Manager for Jupyter and stop all the Jupyter stuff. There's going to be a few Jupyter things, and I think there's a search here. We can just sort by name. And there, it's putting all the Jupyter stuff together. And task, and task. There might be a Jupyter server somewhere in here, but I'm not seeing it. It's sorted alphabetically, so it should have been there. Could be hiding under some other service name, right? Some service thing. Service host, Jupyter, maybe. Nope, not seeing it there. All right, so I close out of Task Manager and I try running it here again. Did it take my click? I thought it did. Not very successful. This is such a bummer. All right, I do believe I'm going to have to restart. I'm going to have to stop this streaming on you folks, and maybe I'll come back. Oh, look, it's so painful to stop here, but I got to do this. I can't live without Jupyter, so I'll see you guys soon. Maybe I'll start a new stream and invite you back in, and you can see how it ends. Maybe I'll get to LXD tonight again. I'm not sure. Talk to you soon.